thank you again for coming all the way over here to come and spend some time with my family as we all get to know you. And the fact that you're even willing and able to cook is just the most amazing thing for everyone here. We are all so looking forward to what you'll have ready for us by the time lunch starts.
And thank you as well, Verna. It was so kind of you to invite me out here to finally come see the parents of the young woman my son is so very in love with. I have also been having a very fun time with you cooking all these dishes, and I hope you all really do look forward to eating what I've made for you all today. Actually, I really am thankful that you let me help cook this time. It's helped me calm my nerves a little bit, considering that this is my first time being over at you guys' house and first time seeing you in person.
Yes, no worries. I had to make sure you could cook since you come from a moneyless family. But it brings me great joy to see that you can, in fact, work with higher quality foods. I mean, I was almost certain that a lot of appliances in here would be too high-tech for you to understand.
Uh-huh.
Did you have a good look around my kitchen? It's outstanding, right? We make sure to have all the most up-to-date cooking appliances in it so that all our meals are prepared the best. And when you had a chance to look inside our refrigerator, you got to see all our perfect meats and produce, right? We only allow foods that come directly from the sources they are gathered from. And yes, that does mean that a lot of our food is imported, but we're willing to pay that extra price for such delicious ingredients. And when it comes to all my storage in the kitchen, well, as you can see, I make sure that it is all well managed so that I never forget where something is. But of course, this is all possible because of my husband having so many restaurants under his company's name, right?
Yeah. Well, I can tell that you really put a lot of time into your kitchen, Verna. And I hope that you weren't too nervous letting me handle some of those appliances of yours.
I could never begin to imagine the kind of kitchen you must have to work in most of the time back at your home. I'm sure that there aren't nearly the amount of appliances we have in there, and most of your food is probably frozen and disgusting, right? Oh, I just can't see myself ever having to cook in a place like that. Do you guys even clean it out at all, or is most of the leftover foods from last year still sitting around in there?
Well, no, not really, but as for myself, I'm pretty busy with other things, so I never really have the time to work in my kitchen anyway. Nobody's really home anymore either, so that's another reason for not really cooking in there.
Oh, are you like those poor people that never stop working hard in laborious jobs? Well, that must be so tiring for you indeed. I guess that means you force yourself and your son to eat out all the time then. Fast food? That must be so hard on you guys' health, right? Unlike y'all, my family never really has to work hard, so I'm not really able to understand what you guys have to go through.
Well, anyway, before everything we've made up today starts to get cold, let's bring it out to the dining table and get to eating. I'm sure that even Fred and Miley's stomachs are beginning to hurt as we speak.
Good point. But listen, I just had a quick glance at the food you ended up cooking for today. Have you made sure to measure the amount of salt you put into this dish properly?
The amount of salt in it?
It seems that you put quite the emphasis on salt in your dish, using things like soy sauce in it as well as table salt. Are you sure that this dish isn't too salty?
Well, of course I didn't use a huge amount in that dish. Please excuse me, but I added just the appropriate amount of salt I thought was needed as I went along making that dish.
Well, if you haven't measured the amount of sodium properly in your dish, then what would happen to you if perhaps my husband or daughter's health went downhill due to your dish? Well, this is all very unfortunate. I suppose I was better off not asking you to help cook with me.
But when I had asked you for a spoon to measure out the amount of soy sauce I was putting in my dish, you told me you didn't want me touching any of your silverware.
Is that right? So now you're going to make up more excuses for this. Well, for for now, I'm going to have to toss all this in the trash. You're fine with that, right?
Wait, what? You're going to throw away the perfectly good food I just cooked?
That's right. I can't let anyone eat this food when we have no idea what all's inside it. And this all has to happen while my family and yours is saying they're so hungry. Now we're going to have to go back and cook everything from scratch.
I was really doing my best to make sure that everything was properly balanced out in that dish, including the salt. And I have confidence that the dish is perfectly safe for eating.
Huh? Don't make me laugh. I know that moneyless people like yourself never bother to think about making your dishes healthy or not. You guys love to consume your salts, and that's why you all end up being so large.
That is not the case in my family.
Go and throw all that food out for me, please. That should be all right with you, right? Perhaps we should just go out to eat instead today. I'm going to bring the car out for everyone, so you follow behind us, okay?
Huh? You're okay with me coming along with you all as well?
Well, you did come today to talk with my family about the marriage of your son and my daughter that's coming up real soon, right? And so far, we haven't really had the time to talk with you and get to know you more. So when we get to the restaurant, we can all sit down and have plenty of time to talk to one another.
Understood.
So how was it, Lola? This restaurant is pretty special, isn't it? But of course, you've never had the kind of French foods this place has served up before, right?
Well, that's right. But I do know about this restaurant.
Is that so? I'm sure you've seen it on TV or maybe read about it online, right? After all, this is the kind of restaurant that attracts even the most affluent of people to it, so it's very well known all over the world. And I'll have you know that the owner of this place is a close friend of mine. It's because of the support and funding that I gave this place that they were able to even open the restaurant in the first place.
Is that so? Well, that is very interesting indeed.
But, of course, I'm sure that someone like you can't even imagine what kind of place this is on the inside. So let's go on in! And make sure to tell your son Fred to not make any scenes and to handle himself maturely, okay?
My son is not 5 years old anymore, so you really don't have to worry about him. Just worry about yourself and we'll all be fine today.
Well, he only had a mother around him to raise him all his life, so I'm a bit worried about whether he was able to get the right education or not from only you. As for Miley, she has a CEO father to lead her and a career woman like me to be her mother figure. My husband and I are just so amazing, and she was lucky to be born into our family. So we never have to worry about her being a proper adult.
Huh? Is that so? You often like to talk about yourselves as being a very amazing family and all of that, don't you? It makes me feel very embarrassed about everything.
You can feel all the embarrassment you want, but that's only natural considering you and your son are both losers in this world and will never amount to the success my family has. And since I've made it all the way to the top with my own strength, I have the right to toot my horn every once in a while about it. Anything I think of, I will say. And I have the right to do that, as I'm a winner in this world.
Well, can we stop with all this horn tooting as we're about to go into the restaurant now, right? As of right now, we've just been sitting in our cars in this parking lot for a few minutes now, and I'd kind of like to go inside.
Well, you have a good point, Lola.
Verna, why am I only being served French fries right now while the rest of you get to have actual course-based meals?
Huh? Well, that's because to a poor person like you, all you need is French fries, right?
Hold on. How much longer are you going to come at me like that? Your jokes are getting a bit stale now, so please just treat me as your equal, okay? We are not in middle school anymore either, so let's just be adults about all of this and enjoy the time we get to spend with our kids today.
Huh? Why are you trying to talk to me like you know better when you can't even afford this year's model of cars? I could laugh so hard right now at this. Are you trying your hardest right now to make yourself look better in front of me? It's because of us wealthy people that the poor like you are able to live at all in this world. So please be more kind to me and my family and maybe say thank you more often.
Is that so? By the way, where are you right now?
Right now, I'm outside having myself a cigarette. Is there something wrong?
You're smoking a cigarette? If I remember correctly, this restaurant doesn't allow smoking on the premise, and that means outside as well.
I'm an investor in this restaurant, so I have the right to smoke wherever I please. My goodness. You are trying so hard to find a way to take me down off my high horse, and it is just so adorable.
That isn't what I'm trying to do at all right now, actually.
What's wrong, Lola? Just a few minutes ago, you've started to act like a tough little girl in front of me. You don't have to worry about your appearance in front of me and my family, as we already know the kind of filth you really are. So let's just enjoy our time together, and please enjoy this fine restaurant, as you'll probably never be able to eat here again. Right?
You really like talking down to me like that?
Today is a very special day for our kids. So let's just enjoy this lovely French food, all right? Well, I suppose the rest of us will, while the poor get to enjoy that huge plate of French fries.
Our family is frickin' over with.
Huh?
You. What the hell did you think you were doing? I had a feeling that something was wrong when Lola only received a plate of French fries, unlike the rest of us who are getting served a full course. But then I realized that you were the one that ordered all those fries for her.
Why are you getting all upset with me? I was just doing all of that as a sort of joke is all.
Why are you trying to joke around with her like that? That's not even a joke to most people like her, but rather you trying to offend her.
I'm sorry, Carl, but really, why are you getting so upset over something as small as that? We are all leagues above someone like her and Fred, so what I've done isn't a problem at all for us.
You think that our family is leagues above hers? What the actual hell are you going on about?
Well, I'm correct, right? Our family happens to have way more money than that single mother and her childish son have. And it's our family's money that helps keep moneyless freaks like them alive in the first place, right?
I'm so over you right now that I can't even let out a single sigh. That way of thinking is already more than a problem for you. But if you really want to talk about who's above the other here, it's her. Her and her family are leagues above us.
Huh? Why's that?
Why's that? Do you really not know who the hell she is? Right now, Lola is the #1 supporter of my company and has been for a very, very long time.
Huh? Are you sure about that? I never heard a thing about that from someone like you or anyone else.
I know for a fact that I've spoken with you before about how Lola has put a lot of money into my company. But I guess you never listened to what I said to you at all back then. And before we even begin to talk more about what she's done for my company, we need to talk about how you've been treating her. It doesn't matter if she's considered below or above us. The way you've been trying to offend her is not okay.
When you say that she's given a lot to your company, what do you mean?
Like myself, Lola works within the food service business as well, and we are both considered top of our classes in this industry. And when she learned about how I was starting all sorts of business in fine dining across the US, she began to invest in my company, making sure that I was able to get as many restaurants going as possible.
Huh?
And not only has she been investing in my company, but she herself owns plenty of restaurants, ranging from places that specialize in pizza to places that do sushi. She has really been doing it all in this industry, and has made sure that my company does just as well as hers with her support. I can't even raise a finger to her because of how much she's given me. And now you've started to pick on her? What the hell is wrong with you?
But nobody ever told me anything about this, so I had no clue she had that kind of power. I guess I may have heard something like that from you, but I never imagined that the person you were talking about was Lola. All right, I'm going to come back in there right now and have the waiter take back her order and get her a course meal as well.
I've already made sure to order her a proper course here, so you don't have to come back in here. Actually, I'm not going to allow you back in here. You go right back home from here, alright?
Well, why should I have to go home? Aren't you being a jackass right now?
Are you freaking kidding me right now? You just tried to hurt one of the most important people to this family. So having you come back and acting as though nothing ever happened will only make things worse for us. I am not going to allow you to offend her any more than you already have. I'm trying to think of the future of my company now, so go away.
Understood. But how am I supposed to get home all by myself? I can't drive a car or anything like that. You know that, right?
Take a bus or taxi or anything to get you out of the vicinity of this restaurant. Are you really that brainless that you can't even fend for yourself out there?
All right then.
Lola, I am so very sorry for what happened today. I never thought that my wife would ever do something as idiotic as try and make fun of you.
No, don't worry about it, Carl. I've been able to calm myself down now after all of that. Really, all she's done to me now is make me have to think a bit more about a few things.
What things has she made you start thinking about?
Well, about my marriage life and about what I do for a living.
Wait, you don't have to think about all of that because of her. I'll take full responsibility for what she's done to you, and take the full repercussion of it. So please, can you make sure not to harm the project we have going on at the moment?
But it seems that Fred no longer wants to go through with the project. After all, this was all his idea, and he's been left in control of what happens and when it happens regarding this project. I've only stood by his side as an investor to him, and so that new pizza restaurant you both are working on falls on his shoulders, depending on what he decides to do now with it.
Is that right? Well, then there's nothing else that can be done about it then. He had to sit there and watch as my wife made terrible comments about the two of you. And I'm sure that someone like him would never want to continue working together with the husband of a woman like that. Understood. I'll stop with all the selfish comments that I've been making regarding my business and yours, and let you be.
I'm sorry, Carl, but thank you.
But on a very personal note, I am so very sorry for everything.
What is this about you wanting to get a divorce soon? I'm not going to allow you to get a divorce from me.
I have had enough of your childish crap, Verna. And the fact that you might be putting my money at risk now? I don't want you around me ever again. Alright? I doubt you even realize just how important of business I had with someone like Lola and her son. And now, it's all going to be lost because of you. But there is still hope of us being able to make something new work. And to keep that from falling through, I need you to leave me. My job is far more important than some selfish wife, and that's why I want this divorce.
What the hell? Are you really going going to sit there telling your own wife that your job is more important to you than her?
It's not the company itself that's more important to me than you are, but those that work for me, and those that work with me that are more important than you.
What?
I am the CEO of a very large company, and I am the one held responsible for all of my employees and customers. And recently, I began a very important project with both Fred and a few other very important customers, and if that project really does fall flat, then I'm going to be the one getting screwed, not you. So I need to do whatever I can to make things right again with Fred, and that means getting rid of you.
So that's your reasoning for wanting to divorce me?
That's exactly right. I'm sure that a long time ago you viewed me as your husband, but all I see from you now is using me as your ATM and your status keeper. So divorcing and cutting ties to you might just help you realize that what you're losing is more than just your money.
So you're gonna throw me away just so I can see that I'm losing my husband? Well, if you do that, I'm going to make you regret throwing a woman like me away.
These past few years, as my company grew and we gained more wealth, I've noticed that your head was getting too big for your body. And after a while, I really started to get tired of hearing you brag about yourself non-stop to everyone we met. I was able to just go on with my life ignoring what you were saying and doing. But today, you crossed the line. What you did to Lola's cooking by throwing it away after saying it wasn't good enough?
Well, come on! It's not my fault that she's so bad at cooking that she could cause you or Marley harm.
She's so bad at cooking? Do you have any clue what you're talking about right now? That woman used to run a restaurant of her own with 2 Michelin stars.
Huh?
But as of now, she no longer runs that restaurant because she's busy operating about 100 others through her company. Lola is a very amazing woman, and her success speaks far louder than whatever lousy cooking you think you could make. To think that you went and threw her food away like that. I was looking forward to trying it all out.
Well, I never knew that. If you would have told me sooner, none of this would ever be happening.
I've had enough. You've done far too much talking today. You really think I want to live with a woman like you after all the horrible things you've done? I want you out of the house by the end of the night. Understood?
Wait, Carl? Hey, Lola, please listen to me. Can you talk with your son and get him to continue with the project he had with my husband?
What's all this about?
Your company and my husband's company have a project going on right now, right? Can you please get that project back on track like it always should have been? Please?
And as of right now, I'm talking with my son about that.
It's because of you talking about it that my husband is going to divorce me soon. So please, I really do feel sorry for what I've done. So get back to having your son work on that project with my husband and let me stay married to my husband.
Are you kidding me, Verna? You're telling me that Carl is divorcing you? I knew that Carl was a man of his company and his employees. He must really want me to see that he does care more about our partnership rather than whatever he had with you.
Stop thinking about it like that. He's telling me he wants me gone so that he can focus on his work full time. That's not okay, right? Don't you feel bad that I'm going to lose my husband because of his selfish behaviors?
I don't feel bad for you at all. I think what he's chosen to do is the right thing and the perfect way of handling the cards he's been dealt. And also, Carl has been a dear friend of mine and a good business partner for a very long time, Verna. To be blunt, he really does care a whole lot about his work, but he cares even more about the people he employs and the customers he has. He is such a powerful man for being that way.
And as his wife, I know all of that better than anyone else.
You do? Well, I guess you know about everything besides who his biggest supporter is and what project he's in the middle of working on, right?
And when it comes to those two things, I happen to just forget about them. Now go call my husband and tell him that you will get your son to continue the project and then have him cancel the divorce.
Are you sure you feel sorry about what you did to me? Because this all seems like anything but you feeling sorry about what you did to me. I have no idea what's made you think you deserve everything in this world at the cost of others.
Well, that's because you don't know the first thing about higher class people like me.
Oh, I do understand people like you, though, Verna. Now, I'm going to call Carl and let him know what both my son and I have been thinking about that project for you.
Really?
Yes, really. And this is all going to be about your divorce from Carl, okay?
Huh?
I'll make sure that he will no longer have to worry about a thing and he can get right back to focusing on his company and his customers. I think Fred will be fine with all of this as well.
Hold on a moment. Why are you trying to bully me now? If I have to leave my husband for good, I'll seriously be all on my own in this world without anyone to help me. Even Miley is telling me that she'll never speak to me again after the divorce.
I am not going to forget about how you sat there in front of my own son making fun of the person I am. I worked so dang hard to raise my son into the man he is today and had to sacrifice a lot to get him here. As a single parent, I had to balance work and parenting to make sure both needs were met. And hearing from you that I failed to raise him properly and have a proper job, I am not going to let you get away with crap like that around me.
You witch! You think you're all that now that my husband is against me? I'll have you know, Lola, that I have plenty of other connections. I told you about how I'm the one that has invested into that French restaurant we went to earlier, right? Even if you try to make me suffer for you being such an emotional witch, I'm going to keep on living as the winner. How does that make you feel, knowing I'll never lose? I bet it stings, right?
Right. I almost forgot to say this. You have been banned from ever entering that restaurant again, so go ahead and toot that horn of yours some more.
Huh? I've been banned from there. Huh? What do you think you're talking about? Tell me, what is their reason for having me banned from going into their restaurant?
Well, you proceeded to smoke on the premise of that restaurant and it caused a bother for a lot of the customers coming in and out of there. And this isn't your first time doing that there either, so this was the final straw.
Who do they think they are banning an investor like me from going inside their restaurant? You could pretty much call me the owner of that place, and I say that I'm allowed to do what I want there.
Well, if you'd like to know who the real owner of that place is, it's me.
Huh?
Recently, I had been hearing about how there was someone saying they were a huge investor for my restaurant and that they'd use that to get whatever they wanted from there. And lo and behold, that person turned out to be you of all people. I was shocked when you told me that to my face.
You have to be lying. Because I am...
I didn't ever remember getting any kind of money from you that you wanted invested into my restaurant. That's right. You happen to have a couple of other friends that run high-end restaurants around the city, right? Well, I'd like you to go ahead and tell me what restaurants those are.
No.
Tell me, please. And don't think that I'm going to let you off the hook until you tell me about the other restaurants you're in good relations with, okay? I don't mind how you phrase it as long as you tell me.
Well, there's that one restaurant by the City Hall southern exit.
Right. That's the place that specializes in shrimp, correct? Well, that place also happens to be run by me and my company. What other places do you know?
And I've had enough. Sure, I've been saying that I have connections with a lot of restaurants around here, but what's so bad about that?
I never said that there was anything wrong with that. I happen to brag about my cooking and my whole company a lot, actually, and about how those have made me into the woman I am today. But the only difference is that I don't lie about the strengths I have and then use them to talk down to others.
Hey, I just got a text from Miley saying she's cutting ties to me. I'm seriously going to be all on my own now. Please, can you do something on your end to save me?
Ain't that so? You don't have yourself a job, and you'll soon be without a home as well. Soon your life is going to become pretty difficult, Verna. Well, if you're ever feeling a bit hungry, give me a call, please. I'll make sure to have a fresh plate of hot French fries ready for you to eat. After that, Carl went and took Verna and tossed her out of his house for good. And as for her daughter Miley, she did end up cutting ties with her mom and blocked her just to make sure she could never be contacted again. Since she no longer had a house or family to rely on, Verna went around the city looking for any connections of hers that might be able to help her. But since everyone already knew about how much of a snob she was when bragging about everything in her life, not a soul offered her a hand in helping her out. And as of right now, Verna has gone back to her hometown and is working a pretty dirty job as a pig farmer with one of her long-forgotten uncles. And as for ever contacting me again, I'm not sure if it was due to her pride or just that she was too scared to, but she never contacted me again after I offered to get her French fries whenever she needed them. Fred and Miley were able to have a happy wedding and are now both living together in a penthouse downtown where they plan to start their own family. And as for that project that my Fred was leading on my company's end with Carl, they have gotten back on track and everything is going well there. But unlike the Carl I had been seeing for the past few years, he seemed a whole lot more excited about his job and life again after getting rid of that selfish witch.
I'm going to be getting married here soon. I'm sure that you're jealous after hearing that.
What? I'm sorry, but who is this?
Oh, please. It's me, Tracy. Now enough with those bland lies right now. Even if you have troubles remembering things all the time, there's no way you'd forget about someone like me. How could you possibly forget about your best friend after being together for so long?
My best friend?
I am Tracy. This is literally no reason you should have forgotten about me, right? You and I have been best friends ever since high school.
Tracy, huh? Did you end up changing your number or something? Because I don't have anyone in my contacts with your current number. It's been so long since the last time we talked with one another, so I couldn't really tell that it was you. So, what do you want from me?
Well, I told you why I'm talking with you right now at the start, right? I'm getting married. Were you not looking at anything I sent you before?
Ah, is that so? Congrats. But you really don't have to go out of your way to tell me something like that.
Why not? You're one of my best friends, and I'd be stupid to not tell you about how I'm going to get married soon. And to me, you're my number one best friend out of everyone, so I just had to tell you.
I'm your number one best friend? What do you mean by that? Are you sure you're not joking with me now? What the heck is up with you texting me now anyway after so long?
I'm not at all joking with you. I just wanted to let you know that me, one of your best friends, is going to be getting married soon. I'm going to be marrying a wonderful man, and you should be jealous of that, right? That's why I want to have all my friends come and celebrate my big day, and I'll be giving you all the chance to do that with an amazing wedding.
Is that right? Well, that's great to hear, I guess. What else would you like me to say to you besides congratulations?
I'm sure you'd love to make up a welcome board for my wedding that we can place outside the venue, right?
What?
I'll let you make that up for me, however you'd like to, as long as it's really special. I know that you've always loved working on crafts and things like that, so I'll let you take the responsibility for that. Back when we were in high school, you did all sorts of paintings and things like that, right?
Wait, when you're talking about high school, that was over 10 years ago, Tracy. Asking me to get back into doing arts and crafts now would be difficult for me.
I'm not sure how something like a painting a simple board could become so difficult for you. But this is a request from one of your best friends, so you're not going to say no to me, right? I want you to do your very best with that welcome board and make it look spectacular.
Can you hold on for 1 minute, please? What is all of this about? What the heck are you going on about, Tracy? Why do you want me working on some welcome board for your wedding? Shouldn't you be asking the reception hall to prepare that for you instead of me? They'll know a whole lot more about that sort of thing compared to me and will most likely have better tools for making it. Having me work on that board for you, well, it just won't come out as good as you think.
Even if it's difficult for you, I'd like you to work on it. Now, can you stop fooling around with me when I'm trying to plan things for my wedding?
Well, I'm also a little bit concerned about how you call me your number one best friend. Did you forget about what all you did to me a long time ago? Tracy, if you'd like for this whole conversation to be taken more seriously, can you calm down a bit and get real with me?
Let's just forget about what all happened back then. There's no point in us being held down by the past when there's nothing we can do to change it. If you continue to waste your time thinking about what happened years ago, you'll find yourself living with no reason.
I have no idea what you're going on about now, though. Even if you have a good point, I don't want to be hearing that sort of advice from you. I can understand why you'd like for the two of us to just forget about what you did back then, but...
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you at the wedding.
I'm not going, Tracy.
Do you want to go out for drinks or something as well before my big day? It's been so long since we last talked to one another in person, after all.
I'm not going out to any place with you, Tracy. How many times are you going to make me say that before you understand? I'm not even sure what your plan is with talking to me after such a large amount of time has gone by. So please, just stop trying to ask me to come to your wedding and make whatever welcoming board you're asking for. Now, goodbye.
Dawn, are you really trying to get on my bad side?
Huh? What is up with you this time?
There's no way you'd actually be okay with making one of your best friends this upset on her wedding day.
Huh? So today's the day of your wedding then? I don't really care, but what do you think you'll be achieving by coming at me all upset like that?
I'm pissed off with you because you never even told me that you'd not be coming to my wedding. I'm no longer going to have the patience to forgive you after this. I'm cutting ties to you.
You are?
You making me this upset and being totally okay with it is enough for me. I even left you in charge of the welcome board for the wedding, yet you never showed up to give it to us to display.
What are you talking about? I don't even know anything about your wedding, like the time it's supposed to start, and even if I did, I wouldn't be making that board for you.
So you're telling me that from the start you'd been planning on canceling on me without ever telling me that? I cannot believe you'd be doing this to your best friend.
Oh my God. You seriously have zero clue what you're talking about right now, and it's making me laugh my butt off.
I'm talking about how you never told me that you wouldn't come to my wedding, but it's too late now since my wedding day is today. So I'm going to be cutting ties to you for good.
The fact that you're now this upset with me right now has me rolling on the ground.
What? You're being a total jerk laughing at me being this upset with you. I'm seriously pissed off with you right now, Dawn. I had entrusted you with one of the most important things at my wedding, and yet you canceled on me right before the wedding. Even if you're supposed to be my most best friend, I don't care. I'm going to be leaving you forever and will never forgive you ever again.
I'm sure this won't get to you, but from the start, I'd said I wasn't coming.
Huh?
Can you tell me again why you're getting so upset with me for no reason? Actually, I never even got a formal invitation from you to the wedding, so there's that. Where did you end up sending that invitation, if you actually did send it in the first place? I'm sorry, but that invitation never got to me, so you must have sent it to the wrong address. But of course, you had the wrong address because you don't even know where I'm living now.
What are you going on about? That's a load of crap. How did you never receive a physical invitation from me?
I'm just telling you the truth, Tracy. Did you actually try to invite me to your wedding after all that happened between us?
Of course I did. And why the hell would you say no to coming to my wedding?
That right there is a bit of a surprise to me and rather troubling. The fact that you wanted to actually invite me to your wedding of all things?
Huh? What the hell do you mean?
Way back when, in high school, you stole my boyfriend from me and continued to pick on me for the rest of our time at that school. And ever since we graduated from there 10 years ago, I had made sure to cut all ties with you so that I'd never have to see or hear from you again. That's why right now, hearing you tell me that you want to cut ties with me after not coming to your wedding today makes me laugh.
Huh? What do you mean you cut ties to me back then? Are we not really good friends with one another?
Oh, come on now, Tracy. You're actually going to make me pee myself laughing by calling us best friends.
So you really are stuck in the past that badly that you can't see me as your friend. Stop worrying so much about what happened back then, you emotional loser. I was able to forget about all of that only a few days after it happened. And as for your ex-boyfriend, him and I are no longer together, so you don't have to worry about him anymore. So why the hell are you still so upset with me?
I never said that I was upset with you still because of that event. That all has nothing really to do with me now, so I don't invest my time in thinking about it. And I think it's the right thing to do, not carrying those horrible memories around with me all the time. But what I do think about from time to time is how you ended up breaking things off with my ex after the two of you had gotten engaged. Things like that tend to spread around between friends, so eventually I have to hear about you. But what's wild is that after you had stolen my boyfriend from me way back then, you didn't want to make yourself look bad in front of everyone, so you started making lies about me being abusive towards him, and that you were only saving him from me. Rumors like that still float around to this day, and I have to hear them over and over whenever I run into someone from high school. Always things about you and I.
I never meant to make you look bad back then.
Well, it's fine, Tracy. All that stuff is in the past now, right? I really don't care about any of that stuff anymore. And I'm not going to dig any deeper into the rumors that spread looking for things about you that I can take advantage of. It's all been water under the bridge, and that's why I've never come looking for you to talk about anything.
But who cares about all that? What I'm upset about right now is how you canceled on my wedding on the day off.
And I told you that I didn't get an invitation. I had cut ties with you a long time ago, or at least I thought I did, and that's why I never chose to tell you my new address after I moved. So that invitation was never going to make it to me, right?
So you're telling me that I sent the invitation to your old house?
That's what it looks like to me. I bet it's sitting in the mailbox of that place right now, still unopened. And I think that because you only know my old address and nothing about where I currently live, it might even end up being sent back to you soon if the new owner of that house decides to give it back to the mailman. But let me be very honest here. Even if that invitation had gotten to me like you planned, I would have said no to coming because I don't have the want to be around you.
What? What do you mean?
You know what I mean, Tracy. I told you that I cut ties with you before. So no matter how hard you try to get me to come, I'm not going to. I'm sure you've noticed by now that a lot of your so-called other friends haven't shown up, right? After what you did to me in high school, you lost a lot of your friends because they were on my side and thinking that you were totally bonkers. So tell me, who from back then actually wants to celebrate you getting married now?
Hold on, Dawn. You actually think that? Are you and I not best friends?
How many freaking times do I have to tell you that we are not best friends? We're not even friends, Tracy. Hell, we're not even acquaintances. Ever since that day you chose to steal my boyfriend from me, you had used that as a reason to pick on me and spread rumors about how I was the one that was in the wrong. All of that really drove the message into me that you are anything but a friend to me. I know from word around town that you love to go around and have fun with all kinds of men after becoming an adult, but you still like to call that event your biggest accomplishment, right? All of those are reasons for why I do not want to be around a person like you anymore.
Well, I didn't know that I hurt you so much back then. Even after taking your boyfriend from you, I thought that you and I were still very good friends. Best friends. That's why I told you about how I was getting married and asked you to be one in charge of making the welcome board for my wedding.
Asking me to make that stupid board for you was like a massive joke to me because of how ridiculous you were being. That's why I took all you said to me as a joke and didn't bother to care.
Why would I tell you a thing and ask of you as a joke?
Oh? So then all of that wasn't just a joke, but you actually thinking that I would be coming to your wedding and wasting my time on something as stupid as that board? Which is scary because after all you'd done to me, you really thought it was okay to invite me? I never thought anyone that could steal their friend's boyfriend in the past and then make said friend look like the jerk would have the nerve in asking them to come to their wedding 10 years later. That's why I wasn't taking anything you said to me seriously. You really did a great job, Tracy. The nerves you have are incredible. Now, you have a great time at your wedding today. Although I don't expect many of your so-called friends to show up to it.
What the hell is wrong with you, Dawn? So you really don't plan on coming here today? This is the day of my wedding, Dawn.
I said that I'm not coming.
But canceling on me the day of my wedding is horrible of you.
So after talking with me for the past 30 minutes or so, you haven't been reading a single thing I've sent you? I never got a formal invitation from you in the mail, so I had no reason to come to your wedding today. So you can't call me a horrible person for canceling on you today when you never even gave me an invitation in the first place.
But to me, you've canceled on me. I really believed that you'd be coming today and made sure to get you a seat ready in the front row.
Why, though?
You're asking me why? Because you should have been coming to my wedding today.
Did you ever get anything about me RSVPing to your wedding at all? No, you didn't. And that's because I never got anything from you in the mail saying that I was invited. Why would you think that I was coming to your wedding when I didn't RSVP for it?
I wasn't thinking that much into you not responding because I just assumed you'd be coming either way.
Well, when it comes to things like weddings, people are usually coming only if they reply that they will to the invitation and RSVP. But if you don't get a reply from them or they say no, that means they are not coming. Right? That's how things like this have always worked, Tracy.
What? So that's what things like not replying into the invite normally mean? Even if they're my friend?
For crying out loud, Tracy. Then tell me what you thought was supposed to happen. How did you know whether people were going to be coming to your wedding or not and prepare seats for those that would be?
I just assumed that people I sent invitations out to would be coming for sure to my wedding. I never thought that people would want to say no to the invitation.
Geez, how self-centered of a jerk are you? At this point, I'm surprised you even found a man willing to marry you. You actually think that because it's your wedding that everyone you invite would just give up their plans and anything else they have going on in life to come? There's no way that's the case. If you didn't get a response from the people you invited, that means they are saying no to coming. No response equals them not coming.
Well, I didn't know anything about that. Nobody ever even told me something like that.
Nobody would, because that's something that everyone knows the moment they're born, practically. Another thing I highly doubt is that you even knew everyone's current address. So it's a mystery as to how many of those invitations actually made it to the people you planned on inviting.
I thought that me getting married and having this wedding would have made it the biggest event for everyone. I wanted everyone to come and see how happy I've become and that I got married before all of them.
Jesus frickin' Christ. You thought that your wedding would be the biggest event for everyone? You think that your marriage means something to everyone?
But even if it's not that big of a deal, I'm still getting married before you, so... That's at least proof to everyone that I'm still more important than you and that they should all come and see me happy.
I'm already married though, Tracy.
Huh?
I just never bothered to tell you about how I got married to my husband last year.
You have to be lying, right? I never knew about you getting married. You never even uploaded anything about you getting married to any of your social media accounts.
You're right. I didn't make any posts about getting married, but so what? I'm normally never posting anything and leave most of that stuff to my husband to do. And you're not even my friend, so I think I blocked you on everything after high school.
What are you talking about?
Let me just put it this way. My husband does most of the posting due to his job, and you are blocked from seeing anything of mine, so you wouldn't have known.
What job does he have?
Well, he's pretty well known all over the world, so he's pretty picky about what gets shared. But I don't care about any of that because he's given me a wonderful life with our marriage. He's been so considerate and wonderful that I've never had to worry about what happened between us back in high school.
Then why are you acting like this? Why can't you just come to my wedding right now for me? I'm supposed to be your best friend and you should be celebrating my happiness.
You're supposed to be my best friend. I don't think of you as anyone but a stranger, so there's no way I'm coming to your wedding. I told you again and again that I didn't get any invitations from you in the mail, so I wouldn't be coming in the first place. And even now, I don't want to come. But you still keep going on and on, thinking that I'm your friend and that I'm going to come. It's freaking annoying. I've had enough of you now, so can you just shut up and stay quiet?
I'm sorry, Dawn. I want to apologize to you for everything, so could you please find it in your heart somewhere to make it to my wedding? If you don't come to my wedding soon, then my wedding's going to be a complete mess, so please, come here.
No frickin' thank you.
Why though?
I have things of my own that I'm busy with. I already cut ties with you a long frickin' time ago, and I don't have the time to come out and see someone that I don't care to know about. Now, have fun at your crappy wedding. It'd be great if any of those friends you invited actually show up today. But that's if you even have any friends left to call your friends. After that, none of those so-called friends that Tracy thought she had ended up showing to her wedding, and that started to make her husband question things about her, and he called the wedding off. Tracy had originally planned to use her wedding as another way to pick on Dawn and make herself feel as though she was on top. But after everything that Dawn brought up turned out to be true, there was nobody around for Tracy to show off to. After Tracy had tried so hard to make this another chance for her to make Dawn feel bad, it turned out that this whole wedding was making Tracy feel terrible. Tracy tried in one last move to save her wedding to call those she invited, but soon learned that most of them had either blocked her or hated her enough to pick up the phone and tear into her. It seems that most of these people had moved out of town as well, so all those invitations Tracy relied so much on never even made it to her supposed guests. Soon after, Tracy's husband, although newlywed, found out about this part of Tracy's past, and immediately took a 180 and asked for a divorce. Had Tracy just thought about things a bit more, she might have been able to avoid all this by only inviting those that actually see her as their friends still, if those people are even out there anymore.
I'm so happy to hear that you're able to go on that trip to Hawaii on that date. The fact that we're all going to be able to go on this trip as a family is just wonderful, and I'm really looking forward to it. But Grant, is this really going to be okay? Doesn't Sandy just want this trip to be for the two of you instead of all of us? I'm sure that she does want it to be only us going. But I think she'll be able to understand why I want all of us going. Also, this time is a little different than most other trips, right? This time, I'm trying to bring Mom back out with us, and so the whole point is to spend family time with everyone. Sandy just mentioned that she wanted to come on this trip as well with everyone else. So that's why she's coming along. Her and I already went on one really expensive trip as well last year. So I doubt this will bother her any. Is that right? Well, as long as this is alright with you, then I feel alright about coming. I'm the one paying for the whole trip this time, so she really doesn't even get a say in the end on it. I heard about all of that from Mom already, and I feel bad. Can you at least let me pay for the flights or something like that? Well, I'd really like to pay for everything from start to finish this time around, okay? I'm asking you to please let me handle all the bills on this vacation, and for you and everyone else to just enjoy it. I suppose I'll have to then. I'd really love to at least put a little money into the trip, but I understand what you want. If you really don't want anyone else putting any money into this, then I'll have to respect that. Thank you, Grant. I'll really be looking forward to taking off on that trip soon.
All of you really need to get a hold of yourselves. What makes you think you could just butt into this vacation that was meant for the two of us? I can't even believe why you both think it's fine to even sit down for meals with us and order off our bill. Making my husband pay for everything like this is an all expenses paid kind of deal. Kent, is this the kind of behavior you think an older brother should have?
Excuse me? What are you going on about all of a sudden? Grant said that he was willing and wanting to pay for everything on this trip, so I'm only respecting his word on that. So can you tell me why something between him and his family has you all up in arms now?
I'm even more surprised about the fact that he even let the two of you on this trip in the first place with us. And when we went out for this first dinner, I thought at the very least you or your mom would be willing to pay for all our meals as a thank you for letting you come out to Hawaii with us. I really did think that one of you two, or the both of you, would be paying, and that's why I ordered all those expensive appetizers and drinks, but I was wrong. Why is Grant the only one that has to pay for everything?
It's not that he has to pay for any of us, actually. He told both myself and our mom that he wants to be the one to pay for everything. So we're letting him do as he asked. And what do you mean you ordered all those expensive dishes and drinks when you thought it'd be us paying? That's a little bit... well, it just doesn't sound very nice of you.
Why wouldn't I order all the most expensive things when I don't even have to pay? What's so wrong about that, Kent? And as for you two, that restaurant wasn't cheap. So you both did the same thing by coming along and even ordering anything there, all because my husband is a lawyer, right? You think you can use him as your wallet or something? Is this due to the two of you being absolutely moneyless and that's why you need to leech off my husband?
What are you talking about?
I even heard that Grant's having to pay for the plane tickets and the hotels. Am I right? Does that not seem messed up to you? Do you poor people plan to keep on living off my husband like parasites when we get back home as well?
Sandy, are you drunk or something? There can't be any other reason for you saying such rude things about all of us, right? Now, I think that it'd be best for you if you just calm down a little bit and come back to me when you've had a little time to think.
You think I could just calm calm down while something like this is going on with my husband's money? I know that both you and your mom are planning on using up even more of my husband's money even after this vacation, right? You actually think I'm just going to let the two of you poor losers live on Grant's income like that?
Huh? The only reason we're on this trip with you both right now is because Grant invited the two of us, so we accepted his invite. Yet, you're going to become this upset over something as simple as that?
An invitation, huh? I know that the two of you forced him to bring you guys along. And since Grant is the kindest man I know, he couldn't say no to you both forcing that idea on him. I know that in reality this trip was just meant to be for the two of us to enjoy more time together alone. Well, if you both think that you can keep on using up my husband's and my money, you're wrong.
Sandy, neither my mom nor I plan to use any more of your guys' money than Grant is allowing. And the reason for this current trip is that Grant wanted all of his family together while we enjoy the beautiful islands of Hawaii. So both my mom and I followed along in his plan and joined him on this very generous vacation. So I'd like for you to stop taking jabs at the two of us when we've done nothing wrong.
You both are using up our money to live like you're royalty here, you parasites.
You're taking things way too far here.
I'm only telling the truth, right? If I'd known that you and your mom would end up latching onto my husband like this and leeching off everything we've worked so hard for, I would have never married him. I had thought that I won the lottery by finding a man who loves me, who also turned out to be a lawyer and would bless me with a life full of money and wonders. I at least expected that we'd be able to save up a lot of money and go on a bunch of exotic vacations together. After all, right after marriage, he was forcing me to save up a bunch of his money instead of spending it all on the really nice brands I wanted. I thought that money would be going to something like a really huge surprise trip for me or something like that. But now I'm left wondering why he's brought both of his moneyless family members along with him, and it's starting to drive me nuts. I have no idea what's even going on here now.
My family has always been a group of pretty frugal people. So I don't think him asking you to save his money for the future was meant for any sort of surprise or something similar to that.
I don't care whether he's a bit frugal or not. I understand the truth now, and that's what I'm going to act on now.
What is this truth you're talking about?
He saved up all his money by both you and your mom so that you guys can leech off of it. You're both his heavy and unnecessary bags. So I'd like the two of you poor losers to leave us, and then after you've made it back home, to cut ties to us. All you both are is two piles of trash that are blocking our marriage from being so amazing.
I get that you're trying to paint both my mom and I as two terrible people by saying things such as that. But have you even taken a moment of your time to talk with Grant about all of this? How about instead of running your mouth around me, you go have a talk with him? I'm sure he'll give you a very good explanation on all of this.
I'll get an explanation from him after all this is over, but first I need the two of you to go home. It's pissing me off that two parasitic relatives of my husband are here right now on this Hawaii trip feeding off of all of our money. How about you guys stop forcing your brother to pay for you guys' vacations and make some money to pay for your own?
We'll head back home, but you're going to regret this, Sandy.
You think I'd actually do something as ridiculous as regret sending you both away for good? Please!
Well then, let's end it here. I don't have time to talk with you about all of this anymore. We'll get our own hotel for tonight, and then head back home tomorrow. My mom and I have had enough of your childish behavior.
Goodbye now! And then, make sure that neither of you ever come back into my husband's and my life ever again, okay?
I think we'll be meeting with Grant every now and again, but in your case, we'll never have to worry about seeing you. Now, have a wonderful rest of your trip.
Where are the two of you right now? Please don't tell me that you both left Hawaii already.
We are just about to take off. What do you want with us now, though?
Grant is furious with me right now. Did you end up saying something to him about last night?
Well, him figuring out about how the two of us are leaving probably pissed him off pretty badly. You ended up using a very selfish and childish reason for wanting the two of us gone. And then told us to both get out of Hawaii and never talk to either of you again, right?
I wasn't being selfish when I told you both that. I just had been worried about my husband's and my money is all. And since him and I still have a long future ahead of us, we have a good reason to be worried, right?
You have no idea what's been going on here.
Huh?
Did you know that the only reason your husband is a lawyer right now is not due to his own dedication? After failing again and again at those exams he was taking, my mom and I went to him and forced him to keep going, even though he wanted to give up. So the reason he wanted a trip like this where he's paying for the both of us is as a thanks for pushing him past his limits and to a point where he could pass those exams.
You're telling me it's because of you and your mom that he's a lawyer? How the hell could you guys help him afford to take so many exams? You still have to live with your mom because you both barely have enough money as it is.
You could say that it's easier for me to get my job from my mom's house. But there's also the fact that I worry about my mom living all alone at her age. So those are the two reasons I'm living with her still. It has nothing to do with money. My mom still has a lot of the money that my father left behind for her after he passed away. And I'm working a pretty well-paying job. I've already made plans to get married to the woman of my dreams here soon. And after that, I'll be having a new house built for all of us. I'm sure you had no idea about any of this, nor about the fact that I'm working for a very popular company, and in a high managerial position there.
Huh? Who is?
I told you that I am. I get that you're trying to put me down by calling me poor and moneyless, but you're not in the position to be calling someone like me poor.
But you're in your 30s now and are still living with your mom and not even married yet. I thought that you were just some moneyless loser living in your room all day.
And before you started to have such baseless and rude ideas like that, you should have talked to me first. And by this point, I'm sure that Grant has already explained all of this to you, right?
Now that you're mentioning it, I feel he did say something about this before. But I thought he was just going on about some crap that didn't really mean anything, so I just ignored him. So is this all for real? You aren't just some moneyless loser?
I have no idea why you think it's totally fine to look down on someone you barely even know and have the balls to make fun of your own family like you have. I could go on over 100 trips to Hawaii if I really wanted to, Sandy. But I never really cared to. Until Grant came to me one day with all the plans laid out for a trip he wanted to take with all of his family. And both my mom and I were happy to see him wanting to take this vacation. And that's why we agreed to go along with him.
I don't care about any of that. I just want to know why none of you guys ever told me that to begin with.
I'm sure that Grant spoke to you about all of this before the trip, Sandy. But he told me that as he talked to you about it, you just sat there staring at your smartphone like you always do, and ignored him. Is that right?
Huh?
Well, it doesn't matter now. It's just a waste of time continuing this conversation with you. We are all aware now that after this, the only thing you've ever really cared about regarding my brother is his money. And we understand that very well, Sandy. I'm sure he's even aware of that now, right?
What are you talking about? Why would I only be after his money? Are you trying to make fun of me or something now? I am not after any of Grant's money like you think I am. I was just concerned that you and your mom were after his money, and that's why I stepped in to stop you both.
Stepping in to stop his own family? Why would he need to stop us when we already have our own money? These reasons you're giving me right now aren't lining up too well, Sandy.
I did all of this for Grant's sake, for our future's sake. So why are you all attacking me over it now?
Sandy, what do you think about calming down just a tad bit? When you think about all of this with a level head, you can see that what you've done had nothing to do with Grant.
Why are you all not going to believe me? I made sure to think this all through before acting.
Alright. Go ahead and keep saying that about all of this then. But when it comes to anyone else looking at the situation, we'll all feel as though there was a different, far more selfish motive behind all you've done. You have been wanting to use up all of his money for yourself, and saw both my mom and I as being in the way of that. That's why you got rid of us, right? You hated the idea of him using his money, not even your money, to take us out for a treat to thank us, right? That right there is you acting selfishly about something that has nothing to do with you, right? If you really cared about Grant, you would have never said anything about what he was doing.
I'm sure you just see it all that way because you don't understand us. But both Grant and I have things going on of our own. And I bet he's going to understand why I did all of this when I explain it to him.
I'm sure that's going to be the case, but...
Huh? What the hell does that mean?
Grant went and had a look at the transaction history of that card he gave you to use.
Huh? Grant went and did that? Why would he do something like that? He shouldn't have had any reason to look at that until next month at the earliest.
He got a notification saying that the card had reached its spending limit. And so he had a look thinking it might have been stolen by someone. But he was mistaken. Because when he looked at everything, he realized you've been using the family card on all your spending. You've been going to all kinds of shopping malls and spending thousands and thousands on all your favorite brands. Buying so much that you went over your spending limit on that card. And just like that, we understood everything.
Are you telling me Grant was the one that saw all of that? You have to be lying, right? That's not good for me at all. Where is Grant at right now? I feel that he's left the hotel or something right now.
I can understand why he'd want to be on his own right now. Being alone in this world is a whole lot better than being with a parasite like you.
Are you calling me the parasite?
Are we talking about anyone else right now? You've been wanting all of his money for yourself, so you hate the idea of him spending it on anything that doesn't relate to you. And that's why you viewed my mom and I as being piles of trash in your guys' way, right? When you have a look at a situation like that, the only way we can describe you and your actions are that you're only caring about his money and nothing else.
No, I told you you're wrong about that. I didn't mean to do any of this for a reason like that. I mean, when I have things that I want when going on vacation, I buy them. What's so bad about that? Everyone does that, right? This was supposed to be a trip for the two of us anyway.
I'm going to be honest with you, that this trip was not meant for you. And what you're explaining to us now is not anything my mom and I care about. If Grant is okay with you spending all his money, then that's something you and him can agree on. But, as far as we could tell, you've gone way too far. Asking us not to use any more of his money and then sending us back home? All because you've been using his money up and even maxed out his family card? I think it's totally right for my brother to be upset with you now. Don't you? If you were really doing any of this for his sake, then you would have never spent that much money on things for only yourself.
Kent, how about we both settle down a bit and talk this all through?
My mom and I, and even Grant, are all calm right now. The only one that's having a bit of a panic attack right now is you, right?
Are things like the plans for this vacation at least going to still go as planned? I'm not sure where everyone has run off to, but how about we all meet up somewhere and enjoy our time here? We are all in Hawaii after all.
Right now, all of us are no longer in the mood to be on this vacation. And it looks as though Grant is already on his way out.
Huh?
It's all because of you that this whole family vacation that he had spent a long time planning has been ruined so quickly. But at least through all of his effort, we finally had a chance to learn what the real Sandy is like. I'm sure he's happy about that at least, right?
Huh, what does that mean? That doesn't sound like something good to me at all.
I think it's going to be very difficult for you two to continue as husband and wife after what's happened here. So, enjoy the rest of this trip by yourself, as it will most likely be your last time being here. The only one that was ever a parasite to Grant was you all along, Sandy.
And right after that, Grant sent a message to Sandy saying that he was going to get a divorce from her before going back home. He left her in Hawaii all by herself, and this move ruined her mental state for the rest of her time she was supposed to be enjoying there. And even after making it back home, Grant's mind had not changed about wanting to leave Sandy, and soon after he was able to get the divorce. As for that card that she ended up maxing out at $40,000, she was forced to have to pay for it, which of course she could not. She even tried running to Kent and his mom asking for their help in paying it off, but they just ignored her and left. As of right now, she's working hard to find herself a job, and hopefully she can do just that, as the sooner she finds a job, the sooner she can pay that card off without it getting more out of hand.